Let's see what we got going on in the chat. I think I heard Canada. We got Trinidad, Cali, Utah, Texas, London, New York, Chicago, Puerto Rico, Belgium, El Paso, someone else from Canada, Cleveland in the house. I'm out here in Washington State, out at Lewis McChord military base. We got Nigeria, Louisiana. Jay Cooper, that's my grandson's name. I like that name. What's up, South Carolina? I'm headed back to Myrtle Beach next week. We got New Mexico. Oh, you used to stay in Fort Lewis. We're over here in a small town called Roy. My son-in-law is stationed out here. The one, Edgar, he is from Worldwide. Callie in the house from TradeHouse Canada. Yep, 253. Washington's a beautiful state. It's a little chilly out here right now. Myrtle Beach is nice and warm. So I'll definitely be glad to get back over that way next week. What's up, Texas? So how many of you're new to trading? If you're a brand new trader, let's just say within the last 6 months, you started learning about this wonderful investment opportunity called Forex. You just started trading, drop a 1 in the chat. If you are trading 6 months or less, drop a 1 in the chat. What's up, Nigeria? You know, 1 to 6 months seems like a short time, but we have people doing some great things in 6 months with all this knowledge that we got coming our way. Columbia's in the house. BJ's new to trading the TradeHouse way. Yes, I love the TradeHouse way. They got some phenomenal stuff going on over there. So do we have anybody that's been trading up to a year, like 7 months to a year? Give me a 2. They got some pew pew in the house, got some 2s coming on. So 2, you're at the intermediate level. Some of you might have already broken 6 figures. We got people doing it within under a year, especially with the knowledge we give out on IM, on Jon Fibonacci and Forex and Chill. There's enough knowledge for everybody to be a successful trader, and that's what this call is about today. So how many people have been trading over a year? Give me a 3 in the chat. Anybody been trading over a year? You're now a veteran. Got a bunch of 3s coming up. BJ said 3, no veteran yet. That's all right. We're here to get this knowledge today. Jon Fibonacci is going to take us to the next level. 3 and still a beginner. Hey, Cody, everybody runs the race at their own pace. You do what makes things fall into place for you and what makes you a successful trader. I had been trading about a year, called myself trading about a year, and then I finally found what works for me about a year in that made me a successful trader. So just being on here today shows that you're serious about Forex and that you want to take it to another level. And that's what we're going to do today. 3 months TradeHouse, over a year studying. That 3 months made a big difference, huh? Getting to see how price action really works. Maya, this is a Zoom to drop some knowledge to complement chart time. We know chart time is very important, but what goes on when we're not charting is equally important. Jon is going to drop some nuggets, and then we got a special guest coming on. So trust me, you want to be here for the whole call. Let's just say that TradeHouse is in the building. Adrian, you're in the right place. So we still got about 5 more minutes before we officially start. Get all your friends and family on here, because first up, we're going to have Jon Fibonacci giving us a trader's Christmas wish list, telling you all the tools of the trade you need to make sure you have the proper arsenal to go forward in your Forex investing career. And then we have a special guest from TradeHouse that's going to drop some extra nuggets and fire in here today, so you guys don't want to miss it. We got some new people coming on. If you came on in the last 5 minutes, let us know where you're calling in from today. drop it in the chat, or you can mute yourself and give yourselves a shout out. We haven't officially started yet. We're just getting warmed up, hanging out with each other for a few minutes. What's up?
Hello, Liz from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm driving.
Tar Heels, woohoo! We got Devin, UK in here. The Brits in the house. Hey, tell us what's going to happen with Brexit. We need some inside scoop. Should we be long or short on that GBP? Got New York in the house. Welcome, welcome. When Forex, when we get started, the TradeHouse guys can drop any of their links and tell you how to get connected with them. Chicago's in the house. Chicago, what's the weather looking like out your way today? That's sunny South Florida. I'm jealous. London. I've only been through London Heathrow a couple times flying. I never got to go out and explore the city. Maybe next time around. Had a couple trips in and out of Dubai and came through London Heathrow. Cody, one of the Four Seasons. I'll tell you, we have some moody weather out in North and South Carolina too, so I understand. All right, so we got about 3 or 4 more minutes before we start. We're up to 85 people. Let's max it out. Let's get 100 people on this call. Get all your friends, all your fellow traders, share it on your social media so we can get this thing started right. This is a Trader's Christmas Wish List presented by Jon Fibonacci and the TradeHouse and hosted by me, Guinevere Ramos of Forex and Chill. So we're happy to have you guys here. Thank you for taking time out on your Saturday, away from whatever you guys usually do on Saturday evenings, but trust me, this is for your own benefit. This is a great place to be this Saturday evening as we move into the slower season of trading. You're going to have more time to study. These tools are going to help build your arsenal and take you to the next level. So you made a great choice by being here tonight. So Jordan, you're out in London. You're on that good trade time. If you're awake already for London session, don't have to set an alarm. So John said that since we had the incentive to come here today, he's going to give us the extra kudos, the extra nuggets. So grab a pen and paper. Even though this is being recorded, writing things down makes it easier for you to remember. So keep you some good notes today. If you have a Forex trading journal, write it down in your journal. Welcome, Diane. Yes, Ashley, we're excited to be here. And yes, Joe, we do appreciate what John's doing for us today. Hello, Ruby. Glad to see you joining in. We are up to 106 people. We'll get started in about 2 more minutes. Throw that link out, everybody. We'll get started in 2 more minutes. It's 3 o'clock. And before I officially bring John on, I'm going to go over to John's Facebook page and show you guys how you can follow him on social media. And make sure you go over here to Facebook. He's on facebook.com/Jon Fibonacci and just give his page a like. Let's get him up to about 500 likes by the end of the day. How about that? Like his page, share his page with everybody so you can follow him and be on his future trainings, get some of his future nuggets that he likes to drop for everybody. It's 3:01 and we will officially start at 3:02. We're up to 120 people. Come on, guys. Let's pack this room out.
It'll go up from here because, you know, a lot of people like to roll in a little late and everything. No worries, right?
Hey, the late bird misses the early entry.
True.
All right, here we are, guys. It is Saturday, October the 5th, and we have Jon Fibonacci. For those of you who are not familiar with Jon, he is a 5.5-year veteran in the market. I think he started out on the stock side. I'll let him give you a little bit more about his history, but now he's taken the Forex world by storm. You know him from being a part of the TradeHouse family. You've seen him on IMTV, which is now known as Go Live, with Rock Coomer dropping nuggets on the IML TV and the Go Live sessions. And I can honestly say by watching those sessions, I was a successful trader, but they've made me an even better trader. They've sharpened and honed my skills. But now he's going to give us the additional stuff. If you want to be a professional in any type of tool, you need the tools of the trade. Just like you see a nurse or a doctor, you expect to see their stethoscope. When you see somebody who's a carpenter, you expect to see a skill saw. When you come into the Forex market and you want to be a professional, you want the professional tools of the trade. So let's see what Jon has in store for us today. I'm sorry, I muted that, so I'm going to replay it again. There you go.
Hey guys, what is going on? Jon Fib here. I want to let you know that Saturday I'll be doing a special stream hosted by Forex and Chills, Guinevere Ramos, all right, the real Forex and Chill. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to release some products that I have bought over the years off of Amazon or whatever, all right. I'm going to have some book recommendations. I'm going to have some office supplies recommendations, all right. A lot of the products that I felt have done me a lot of justice in my journey as a trader, as a developing trader and investor. All right, so you're not going to want to miss that. Yes, it's going to be recorded, it's going to be posted to YouTube, and it is free for everybody. All right, for every trader, it doesn't matter if you're in my company or if you're on my team or not, it is free for everybody. All right, so be there on Saturday, and I'll see you then.
All right, so without further ado, Jon, I have made you a co-host, and if you're ready to take it over, you can come on over and take over the show. Guys, let's drop some fire and some pew-pews in the chat as we bring forward this man of knowledge. He's going to teach us how to get to the next level, the things that made him who he is the last 5 years. Welcome, Jon.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I got to breathe in for a second because I'm kind of nervous. And normally I'm not. All right. Normally 150 people, you know, everything is all good. But I just had an energy drink, so my heart's like at 1,000,000 miles an hour. All right. And I know the value behind what I'm about to drop. And it's so special to me because I've been doing this for 5.5 years. And the first few years, yeah, nervous. The first few years, right, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have somebody who showed me the ropes, who gave me book recommendations or taught me how to study or anything like that, right? So I was just lost for the first couple of years, okay? So the whole reason why I became an educator and why I'm doing this for you guys, right? For even people who are not in my company or who are not on my team, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we are all traders, right? All over the globe. Some of you are from different parts of the world, which is amazing. And pretty much what I went through the first couple of years, I don't want that to happen to anybody else. So like I said, even if you aren't on my team, you can still take the knowledge that I'm about to drop here in a second to your own trading and all this and that. All right. Now I'm about to share my screen, but it's going to come up to the very first product that I'm going to show you. So before I share my screen, I'm just going to talk about myself for just 1 or 2 minutes. All right. Just to kind of tell you who I am. Guinevere was right. I've been doing this for 5.5 years. I did start off in stocks. That's where my heart will always be. And I still trade stocks and options and all that. But yes, after a few years, I started rolling into everything else. So stock options, commodities, foreign exchange, and all that. Okay. So to me, in where I'm at today, it's really just price, right? Everything has a price chart. And if it has a price chart, it can be traded. Okay. Now, this is a very special stream because I'm actually not going to go over charts today at all. All right. Which is the very first stream that I'm going to do without ever pulling up a chart. So that's amazing as well. All right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is roll right into it. So like I said in that video, here are some of the products that I have that have helped me along the way. Now, this is a Christmas wish list. Okay. So it's going to get a little expensive. So you don't have to just go out and buy everything at once. All right. You can kind of pick and choose what you think is going to be beneficial for you. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to start off with the very first product that I spoke about last night on Forex and Chill. All right. So I'm just going to roll right into it. My screen is on share, so hopefully you guys can see this. All right. The very first product that I talked about last night, well, the only one I talked about last night was a whiteboard. All right. Now, this is hard to explain. A lot of these products you're going to have heard of before, but I just want to let you know like how powerful these really are. All right. The whiteboard I have in my room is literally this exact one. All right. It's 60 inches by 36 inches. It's literally my wingspan. All right. It's right by my door. And I use it pretty much to keep myself organized. All right. Kind of similar to a calendar. All right. Where you write down your ideas, you write down important dates and times, right? Like the other day, for example, you know, you can write down on your whiteboard, hey, you know, John's doing a stream on Saturday, 6 p.m. EST, right? You want to write stuff like that down, and it really keeps you organized. All right. But that's not just with trading. That's with life in general, right? Like dentist appointments or whatever you got going on in your life. Marketing plans. Because we also build the business too, right? So you can write down whatever you want. Now, obviously, with the whiteboard comes other products like the dry erase markers and all this and that, but I'm not going to go too deep into that. All right. So yes, a whiteboard, I have it and I love it. Okay. So the next product is actually going to be a printer. I don't think I have this one specifically. It doesn't really matter to me which one you get. Now, the reason that this is so important to me, and I'm telling you guys about it, is because when people get into the markets or they get into any type of education system, right? People don't know generally how to study, right? Or like how to self-teach. So the reason I'm telling you about a printer is because what I want you to do, and this is what I did, you don't have to do it, but what I started doing was printing out my live trades. Okay. So if I'm getting ready to place a long or place a short, whatever, I want to take a screenshot of the chart and print it out. And then whenever it pans out, either the next day or the next week or next month, whatever the case is, you want to follow up with what that chart did. Did it pan out in your direction? Yes or no? Okay. And yes, you're probably going to use a lot of ink and a lot of paper. So I think it goes without saying, yeah, if you buy a printer, you're going to have to buy some printer ink and some paper. All right. Now with Amazon, I get the off-brand ink because it kind of works the same. All right. And it's just cheaper. Okay. But that's how I utilize growing at a faster rate, shorting that learning curve, right? because I've seen traders make the same mistakes over and over again, and they're not learning from their mistakes, or they'll do something right, but they don't understand how they got there. So they're kind of just, I don't want to say gambling because that's kind of a strong word, but they're kind of just don't have a very good sense of direction. So this is what I utilize. I don't do it all the time anymore, but you know, throughout my trading journey, I did this a lot. All right. Now, obviously, when you start printing out, you know, before charts and after charts and all this and that, you're going to need somewhere to put all these before and afters. So obviously, with that being said, the next product is going to be a binder, and not just a normal one. I would pick a heavy duty, thick, right? Like three inch, whatever binder. Okay. And you're going to want to fill this up. All right. And yeah, it's going to take some time or whatever. But guess what? When you start printing out befores and afters and you start throwing them into this binder, after a couple of months or even a year or even especially a couple of years, you're going to be able to go back and you can now use that as a measurement tool to measure how far you've either improved or haven't improved, right? You can go back and say, you know what, 6 months ago, I was taking these ridiculous trades. And now the last few trades I've taken have been absolutely stellar. And now I can see my progress in an actual tangible form, right? So with that being said, with that history, you can measure yourself, and also now you can back test, right? So what you can do if you want to filter out all of the positive trades and study all of the positive trades that you took in all of those positive setups, right? So it's kind of like, I don't want to say adding like more experience, but it's kind of just like, you know, here's all my kick-ass trades and what they looked like. So it'll help you in the future where you might see another similar setup to a trade that you've taken before, right? And it's just going to be better for you and more beneficial for you. All right. I'm not going to go over this next one too much, but obviously with a binder, right, you're going to need some sheet protectors. All right. And that honestly should go without saying, but I just wanted to clarify because this is exactly how I do it. Okay. And like I said at the beginning of the video, right, this can get a little pricey. It can get a little expensive. So you don't have to just go on Amazon. You can go to your local shop or borrow from a friend or whatever you got to do. It doesn't really matter to me. All right. But sheet protectors and all this and that. And that's pretty much it for that. Okay. Now, again, with harping a little bit more on the note taking, these are the actual binders, or not binders, the spiral notebooks that I have. And I get these all the time, but I'm also a college student. So do what you want with that info. But these are so awesome because, you know, we go on stream and we drop a lot of knowledge, right? And there's obviously more than one educator. So you can have maybe different spirals for different educators or whatever the case is. All right. And I don't know. This is just what I do. All right. This is how this has helped me over the years. I haven't been doing this for that long, probably about a year and a half, but it just works. All right. It works in college. It works with the markets and working, you know, following streamers and educators. It works. All right. Now, I didn't have time to go and add every single thing I wanted to. So I'll just go ahead and tell you about it. With note taking, I'm actually going to do a whole separate stream on how to take better notes, but I'll just give you a nugget right now since we're all here. When you take notes, I highly suggest writing in different colors or if you don't write in different colors, at least get some highlighters that are in different colors. Okay. I would show you an example, but I may do that here in a little bit. Once I pass it over to our special guest here at the end, then I may do that. I'll need you guys to remind me though, because I may forget. All right. So with that being said, guys, the spiral notebooks, don't forget about either different colored pens or highlighters. Okay. I promise it's just going to help with your psychology, whatever the case is. Hold on a second. I don't know how to mute everybody. Don't worry about it. All right. So just know pens, highlighters with the notebooks. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is go over some book recommendations, just like I said in the video. Now, guys, with this being said, these are very powerful books. All right. And I'm not just trying to fluff it up here or oversell you on some of these books, because honestly, I don't care if you buy them or not. I'm just here to show you what has helped me on my journey. And I promise you, these are the best of the best from my perspective. Okay. So with that being said, some of the most legendary traders that have ever lived. Okay. The very first person I'm going to go over, you might have heard of him before. His name is Larry Williams. All right. Now, if you don't know who Larry Williams is, I'll just go ahead and I'll show you some proof. So I'm going to actually slide over to the worldcupchampionships.com. All right. These are trading championships. It's a global event. It's been going on since the early 80s. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take your attention down to the bottom. In 1987, I know it was a long time ago, right? 1987, Larry Williams in the futures market brought a return in 12 months, 11,376%. And I think his daughter did it again in 97 at 1,000%, if I am correct. But either way, Larry Williams is a legendary trader. And this is proof. Okay. 11,000%. That's disgusting. Probably some over leveraging in there, but it's all good, right? So with that being said, Larry Williams has a lot of books. Okay. Now, one of those that I like happened to be this one right in here. It was put out in 2005. Oh, I don't know if I got muted there or not. I'll say it again. This is Trade Stocks and Commodities with the Insiders, Secrets of the COT Report. All right. Now it is kind of expensive. The hardcover is about $50. All right. Hold on a second, guys. I don't know how to mute people while I'm presenting as well. Guys, if everybody could just mute themselves, that would be great. Anyway, so yes, this is the COT report, and it's very powerful. All right. Now it's not going to be something that you can use to day trade. All right. When you start learning more about what the COT report is, you'll understand it's really more fundamental and long term. And with that being said, also with the COT report, we get into open interest. All right. Which is another kind of fundamental indicator. And I've mentioned these before, the COT report and open interest. I'm not going to do a lesson on that today because that's not what today is about. But I promise, guys, this book is amazing. All right. From Larry Williams himself, 11,000% trader. All right. Now, another legendary trader from the early 1900s. All right. You guys have probably heard of him before if you've been around for a while. Richard Wyckoff. All right. And if you're inside of the TradeHouse, if you've been on stream with Zach and Jordan before, and a few others have mentioned Wyckoff schematics. I know I've mentioned it before. I like the accumulation phase myself, but if you want to get more deep into Wyckoff, obviously you can Google it and stuff too. But these two books I have, all right, Stock Market Technique #1 and #2. Okay, these were put out in 1984, but the Wyckoff method has been around for way longer than that. But yes, I have these two books. They're not that expensive, right? $15, $16 each. So about $30 for these two books. And I normally don't pay attention to reviews, but they're currently both 5 stars. All right. Excuse me. So do what you want with that information. Let me see our next one. Okay. So here's another book that I got this year. It's been around for a while. All right. It's called the 80-20 Principle, The Secret to Achieving More with Less by Richard Koch. This book was actually put out a long time ago as well. It doesn't have to do so much with trading, but the 80-20 principle, once you read it, it has its personal aspects and it has business aspects as well. And if you bring this up, the 80-20 principle, to people who have read the book, y'all will probably have an interesting conversation. I actually first heard about the 80-20 principle when I was in the Navy. It was in the middle of the day, and this guy came up to me, one of my friends at the time, and he was just going nuts about the 80-20 principle. And I was just like, what is this? You know, why are you so crazy about it? But I read it, and I can tell you the 80-20 principle is dope. All right, and I'm going to just leave you with that. You can get a paper book for $14. So again, this not too expensive. It's not going to break the bank. All right. What is the next one? I don't know. Okay. So you guys hear me talk about market manipulation all the time, right? We talk a little bit about economics and Wall Street and large banks, institutions, and things like that. So I found an author at the end of last year. All right. Her name is Nomi Prinz, and she has written multiple books. Now, her most recent one, I believe, is Collusion. All right. How Central Bankers Rigged the World. Yeah, this came out in May of 2018. So it's pretty recent. So this book is pretty much a deeper and better explanation of literally how central bankers rigged the world. So when you guys hear me talk about, yeah, you know, the Forex market is controlled, it's rigged, it's manipulated, and all this and that, you don't have to just take my word for it. I mean, you can. I know a lot of you do. But there's a reason behind everything that I tell you or I recommend to you. All right. I don't just pull stuff out of a magic hat and say, yeah, the markets are rigged. Guys, if you go and you actually read or do some research, the information is out there. All right. And this is one of those books that kind of helps explains it. If you go, I'm going to drop the link to all this stuff here in a few minutes. But you can go and read, what is it called? I don't even know what it's called, but that little paragraph where they just kind of skim over it, like what the book is generally about. All right. You can do all that in here. And I actually have it sitting next to me. I was going to show you on my webcam, but my room is very dirty, so we're not going to do all that today. So the next book is pretty much the same thing, kind of. This is actually written by a different female. Her name is Danielle Booth. All right. It's called Fed Up, An Insider's Take on Why the Federal Reserve is Bad for America. All right. So I actually haven't gone through too much of this one. I've read probably the first couple chapters, but I mean, just read the title. Okay. Federal Reserve. And we talk about the Fed Reserve all the time, right? Jerome Powell. Who was that lady? I forgot her name. But anyway, they're the ones that, you know, control the interest rates, print money, and all this and that. Okay. And that is directly impacting the foreign exchange market. So both of these books, I do believe, go over the 2008, 2009 crash. Here's a little, what's the name right here? After correctly predicting the housing crash of 2008 and quitting her high-ranking Wall Street job, whatever. And I believe Nomi Prinz also used to work on Wall Street. So both of these ladies were on Wall Street. They obviously both left for their own reasons, which they talk about in their books, and that's totally cool. But guys, this is the tangible evidence that proves the stuff that we talk about on stream. Okay, so if you want to dive deeper into that, you can get these books and kind of, you know, teach yourself and learn it for yourself. This is when I bought Collusion, it was brand new. It was like $30. I'm actually kind of mad I didn't wait, because now it's like 15. It's like half off now, right? But it's cool. I still love it. All right. This hardcover is like $17. Okay. It's very cheap and it has very powerful information. All right. Now, here is another legendary trader, investor, psychologist, whatever you want. Well, not psychologist, like actually, but he does talk about psychology. This is the last book recommendation that I'm going to give you before I hand it over to our special guest. This stream wasn't meant to be too long, but I wanted to pack as much information as I could. All right. So with that being said, guys, I know you've probably heard him before, and this guy is amazing. Okay. His name is Mark Douglas. And he, along with Larry Williams, has been around for a while, and he's written multiple books. I think his most popular is Trading in the Zone, which I actually haven't read yet. I'm going to get to it. But there's another book that I'm actually currently reading, and I honestly am at a loss for words. I cannot put this book down. And I'm taking so many notes. I'm like damn near writing, you know, word for word of everything that's in the book, because it is so incredibly accurate. It is scary. It doesn't even make sense. Okay. So I'm not going to go over Trading in the Zone because I haven't read it, but I'm pretty sure it's gas. All right. 630 reviews, 4.5 stars. It's obviously amazing. The one that I'm into right now is actually The Disciplined Trader, Developing Winning Attitudes. All right. Now this book's a little bit more expensive. It's about $31. All right. And it's not that old, but it was written in 1990. And I almost feel like he wrote this book specifically for me, all jokes aside, because everything that he talks about is like, wow, how did you know this? It's just, I'm honestly at a loss for words. I love it so much. All right. Now, with that being said, guys, that is pretty much going to cover it for today from me. Now, I'm bringing on a special guest, okay? Somebody who I've connected with for a while now, somebody who I definitely look up to. He's helped me out a lot, and I've learned so much from him. If you were at the Dallas event, if you were at the IM convention in Dallas, you saw him on stage and on the big screen, right? He's a TradeHouse educator, and he is just a very, very powerful person. And I just am at a loss for words with him. But with that being said, I'm actually going to pass it over to our very own legendary Zachary Hogan.
Hey, what's up? Appreciate you, Jon. And man, you gave so much valuable information. I'm going to turn my camera on. What's up, everybody? It is amazing to be here with you today. I wanted to hop on and just kind of share a few things, but first and foremost, like, I'm taking notes. You know, I'm taking notes on what it was that Jon was talking about. I own pretty much everything that he discussed minus the printer. But again, just right back to you, Jon, that was so valuable. So hopefully everybody that's been watching the session up until this point, you've taken the time to go through, create yourself a list, and then of course decide ultimately what is it that's going to make the most sense for where you are right now. And you can go and you can start purchasing some of those things that Jon was sharing. For me, most important, and what I'm going to do, I am going to pull my screen up here. You know, I've got that book, Disciplined Trader, that Jon was talking about. literally right in front of me. This is one of my all-time favorites, Mark Douglas. He really teaches you the ins and outs of how to think like a professional trader. And I saw that there was a question in the chat a little bit ago about, can you teach us on how to make, how to take notes? For me, one of the things that I like to do is when I'm going through my book, I'll highlight the key things that stand out to me. And so during my first time reading the book, I'm literally just reading, I'm highlighting the things that give me breakthroughs or shift my paradigm. And then what I do is I'll go back and I'll reread the book again. And on that second time going through it, that's when I'll start transferring what I've highlighted in my notes, or for what I've highlighted in the book rather, into my spiral notebook. Because repetition, it's going to allow you to, first and foremost, create and reinforce that habit, that understanding. But from my personal experience, what I've found going and doing this with multiple books is that it deepens my understanding and it gives me a much better appreciation for the content that's inside whatever it is that I was reading. But on the topic of Mark Douglas, I know that Jon didn't really go too much into why this individual is such an amazing trading coach. But he did say that he felt like he wrote this book, The Disciplined Trader, for Jon. And I felt the same way going through it. Now, Mark Douglas, he's one of those individuals that had the opportunity to work in funds. He had the opportunity to work with thousands of traders as a coach. He's had that experience in the market. And believe it or not, he's actually got a YouTube series called How to Think Like a Professional Trader, and it is a hidden gem. It's like 8 hours of content, and it is something that I've watched again and again and again. I remember when I first shared it with my trading partner, Jordan Morgan, he was absolutely blown away. And so go and check out Mark Douglas. Even if you don't buy this book, I would highly encourage you to go and check out some of his content that he has out there. It is extremely powerful. And on the topic of note taking, Jon was saying in the chat, one other thing, and I do this as well, is to write your thoughts inside of the book margins. And then that way, when you're going and you're reflecting, you're able to expand upon whatever initial ideas or breakthroughs you've had. When you write something down, it really helps you to take that understanding to the next level. And with note taking, use blue. Blue inspires you to be creative. Blue is better for reinforcing in your memory. There is a lot of psychology that goes into even just the color of your pens, and that's something that I will leave you to go and research on your own. But what I want to do for the next few minutes is just reinforce a few things that I've learned over the last few years that I've been trading, as well as share a few different resources that have helped me grow. And the first thing, really just no matter where you are in your trading journey, if you just got started or if you've been doing this for a year, a couple of years, maybe you've even been trading longer than me. I first started interacting with the market with real money back in 2014, and I still learn every single day. And so part of this, it's coming into the market with this open-mindedness and this willingness to learn, right? This desire to continue becoming better and understanding that the markets, they're always going to be able to teach you something, whether it's a deeper understanding of your setup and what you look for, or whether it's something related to you as an individual. Something that I use both for my own development and as a teaching tool, I've got a whole bunch of these ruled index cards, okay, little cue cards. For those of you that used to do like speeches or presentations in school, you probably used them at one point. But what I do, especially when I'm learning something, is I will draw out my setup and the confirmations that I'm looking for. And all of the various setups that I trade, I've got cue cards with me. I use them to teach. I use them when I'm training in like a real, person-to-person environment. And taking it one step further, one other thing that I do is whenever I'm learning a new term. So for example, if I am learning about accumulation, what I will do, same idea, on the one side of the card, I will write accumulation. And then on the other side of the cue card, I will define and write out what that specific concept is so that I can then reinforce my understanding of it and have it be something that I don't need to go on my phone or on my computer. I can literally just grab my card, study it. I can share that with other people. And it's something that's just helped me personally take my knowledge and understanding of the market environment to a whole new level using some different tricks that I've picked up over the last few years. Something else that I want to talk about, aside from having fun with this, being open-minded, getting creative with the ways that you study and retain information, keep it simple. Of course, don't try and learn 100 different things at once. It's not going to be to your highest benefit if you take every book that Jon listed, go and buy all of them, and then try and read them all at the same time. You want to give it the necessary time. You're going to get out of this whatever energy you put in. If you are slacking off, not staying consistent, really just treating this as some part-time, I'll try it out. If trading works, awesome. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If that's your mentality going into this, it's going to give you those exact same results. And this can be taken and applied into whatever other area of your life. It's not just trading. And when you are interacting with the markets, you are literally going against yourself. And so that's something that once I had that breakthrough, it really changed my paradigm. Another thing that I want to share, this book right here, Trader Mind, Get a Mindful Edge in the Markets. It's by a man named Steve Ward. And I've read this book several times. It's essentially a psychology book. And what it does is it gives you specific scenarios and specific situations that you may have found yourself in already, whether you get greedy or fearful, or if you over leverage, or if you don't have a plan. And what it does within this book is there are specific exercises that you're able to write inside of the book, write down your thoughts, do the exercise, and then go back and reflect on it. It's very powerful, very insightful, one of my favorite ones. Another book that I want to share with you, I read this one for the first time about 2 years ago. It's called Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. And it's essentially a novel that takes a look at what Jesse Livermore did. And so this, my biggest takeaway beyond the psychology, was just deepening my understanding of some of the fundamentals about what trading is and how trading works, how there always needs to be buyers and sellers. And we're so blessed and so fortunate today to have the opportunity to go onto tradingview.com or MetaTrader or NinjaTrader or whatever your preferred trading platform is, and within a few moments have, within a couple of clicks of a button, a price chart. And then you can go and you can use your perception, interpret those candles, and come up with a bias. If you think back 50 years ago, 70 years ago, 100 years ago, some of the same concepts that we're implementing in the markets today still existed then. The key difference, though, is that they weren't reading a nice, clean chart. They were reading ticker tape. And so price action, the study of price movement and the psychology that affects different human beings at various points, this book really shed some light on that for me, and it's something that I continue to recommend again and again and again. This next book, it is a little bit off topic from the markets, but it's still so key. It's called The Happiness Prescription by Deepak Chopra. Some of you may have heard of this individual already. I read this book for the first time 3 years ago. I was going through a very challenging time, and those of you that have been trading, you probably know if you're stressed out or if you have stuff going on or if you're distracted, when you go to interact with the market environment, what happens a lot of the time is that your results, they reflect whatever it is that's going on inside of you. And so if you're not coming into the market with a calm, composed, clear state of mind, it's going to be even more challenging for you to see whatever results you're looking for. And so this book, I have it up on the screen right now. I've got it in front of me right here as well. It really takes a deeper look at some things that are going on inside of you, and then it gives you exercises that you can practice by yourself, practice with other people. It gives some affirmations in there as well, and just gives a fresh perspective on some of the things that you can do on a spiritual level to really elevate your life and then whatever results you're looking for. I mean, it's a natural part of the process, right? As you become better, as you become happier, you feel more fulfilled, you feel more ambitious, you feel more desire to go and take action. One other book that I feel is so key, I've given out hundreds of copies, The Greatest Salesman in the World. Whether you're a trader or a business builder or you're just getting started, this book is so key because it's not even necessarily about sales. Okay, what this book taught me is the power in creating habits. And they're very simple habits. It's nothing that's going to be extremely time demanding. I'm talking about committing 10 minutes a day to reading, reflecting, and writing. Some of those basic things, this book literally helped me organize and structure my life in such an effective way. And I remember back to the first time that I met the TradeHouse, Mike Miles, he was just starting to go through this book. And he had this routine where every single day he would read it, he would go through, and by the time that he hopped on his IML TV stream, if he hadn't taken the time out of his day to read the scroll, what he would do is he would go and he would actually do push-ups on stream because he broke the habit. He didn't achieve what he set out to do. I firmly believe that once you commit to something, you have to stick through it. And so this book, it reinforced that belief even further. It's only $7, and it's something that you can literally carry around with you. There's no excuse, and this is something that if you're only going to get one book or you're only going to get one thing, this is the one that I would suggest to you. Just before I go ahead and close this off, though, I do want to remind you that at the end of the day, nobody is going to want your success as much as you do. Okay, and here's what I mean by that. We have various mentors in the group. Okay, we have various people in the community. We have students that have been trading longer than I have. Okay, just putting that out there. But the thing is, we're all coming into this from different places in our life. We have different relationships. We have different values. We have different things that we prioritize. We have different goals and different objectives, different visions for what it is that we see happening in our life and for what it is that we ultimately want to create. The thing is, when you surround yourself with people that are in that same state of mind and they want to see you grow and they want to see you thrive and they really, with a pure intention, have your best interest in mind, that's all well and great. But if you as an individual aren't taking those steps every single day, finding yourself moving closer and closer towards your goals, doing that one thing that you know you have to do, whether it's spending less time on social media. When I made the decision to do that, my entire life changed. Okay, there are some people, even within my group right now, where when I'm around them, their phone is constantly ding, 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 ding. For me, Instagram is muted. Facebook is muted. Emails are muted at all times throughout the day. I take control of when I go on social media by turning off those distractions, completely eliminating them, so that I get to choose when I go into that social realm and when I exit it. Okay, because for a very long time, I was consumed by social media. I was spending more time scrolling through Facebook and looking at Instagram and paying attention to what other people were doing, that I wasn't seeing the progress that I wanted to in my own life. And so some of you may be there right now, and you may not have even been consciously aware of the fact that you're spending the majority of your time watching what everybody else is doing, rather than putting that stuff aside, focusing in, and moving towards the results and seeing the progress that you want in your life. And so that's what I mean by nobody is going to want your success as much as you do. You can have the best mentor or mentors. You can have a completely supportive family. You can have the best friends group. You know, you can have all of these incredible people around you that want you to win, but how bad do you want it? Are you taking the action? Are you putting the time in? And for some, the first step really is just in that awareness. And I see a lot of you saying it's powerful that you've been doing this, that you were even aware that you were doing this, but weren't necessarily taking those steps. And so I would highly encourage you, if you want to see a shift in your trading, start by focusing in on what's going on with you on a daily basis. And that is a powerful place to start. One last thing that I want to share, and this is something that when I met my wife, it was one of the first things that just made me go, wow. On her wall, she had affirmations everywhere, positive quotes, things that when you look at it and when you read it, you get inspired, you get uplifted. And so I've actually got in front of me at all times, this is something that Bob Proctor has talked about, Les Brown has talked about. Many successful individuals have encouraged the use of having a goal card that you carry around. And so on one side, I've got I am so happy and grateful now, because it's coming from that point of believing it's already done. And if you want to go and learn more about that, check out on Gaia. There's a series called Missing Links. It's going to change your whole paradigm on the power that we have within our minds, going all the way back prior to any of us right now being alive. Like, we're talking about studies and evidence from past civilizations that are still being implemented today. And that's one of the reasons why I love the markets and I love trading. It's taught me so much more about myself and about things that are going around, that it really took my focus away from the money. We get started with trading for the money. We have this desire to use the money and make the money and all this stuff, but really that's not what it's about. This is about so much more. And then of course on the other side, just some of the goals. I'm happy and vibrant I'm healthy and vibrant with life. I'm constantly growing my wealth. I'm surrounded by positive energy, positive people. I am interested in other people's development, and I am relaxed and confident as well, knowing and believing that whatever I set my mind to and whatever I feel in my heart, I'm going to be able to go and achieve that. And so I want to leave that with you for today, just as some food for thought. And thank you all again for being here and for taking the time to come and just expand your mind on a little bit more beyond just charting, right? And one last piece of, so just something that I would suggest, okay, is to remember that no matter how much time you put into this, if all you're doing is spending your time looking at videos, taking in information, soaking it all up like a sponge, if you're not acting and if you're not doing anything to actually check your progress and see if you're understanding the information, if you're actually retaining it, right? If you're not taking those steps, it's going to be very challenging for you to ever really see any progress, because you don't have anything to relate to. It's like somebody's telling you, do this, do this, do this, do this, or you should do that. You know, people that have what you want. And you're taking in this information and taking notes and studying it. But if you don't ever act and see if it works for you, see how it works for you, and then really take all of that experience and engineer it to move you closer to where it is that you want to be, all that you're going to be doing is, you know, consuming all of this information. And I'm sure that we've all been at a point where we've suffered information overload, and it's not a very positive feeling. But thank you again. Thank you for having me, Jon. Guinevere as well. Definitely appreciated for putting this together. And for all of you who are here that watch this with us live, that watch this on the recording, I want to thank you again, because it took a decision for you to be here and expand your mind and take steps towards becoming not just the trader that you want to be, but the person that you want to be. And so feel more than welcome. Give us a follow on Instagram. You can connect with Jon Fibonacci. You can connect with the TradeHouse LLC. You can connect with me at Trading Coach. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to, I guess, you, Guinevere. Thank you again for having us here on the Forex and Chill session.
Man, what a powerful session. We packed it out at 192 people. That's 192 people who are very serious about this skill set and taking it to the next level. As we said, you can master the charts, but there's more to mastering Forex than just charting. And these guys showed this today. They shared what has taken them to the next level. So let's show them some appreciation. They're going to drop this video on YouTube. I dropped a list of everything that they said. And guys, I just thank everybody for jumping on. Let's unmute and give them a great thank you on the way out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Bye.
Thank you, yo.
Great
Appreciate it.
information.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jon and Zach.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jon.
Thank you.
Fuego. Thank you so
Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pew, pew.
Pew pew. Pew pew.
Pew, pew, pew.
Thanks.